there's no one else who loves me like you used to. Some days I'm not myself, there's no one I can turn to. And I know all the feelings that we shared are in the past. And I know your relationships are never meant to last. It might take some time, but I'll be alright. I'm moving on, I'm moving on. I know times are tough, but I've had enough. I'm moving on, I'm moving on. Yeah, I'm broken, the door is closing. Wanna be a part of something more. I've lost control of it. Oh, seeing the stars reminds me of you. Oh, oh, oh. You left me with scars, but I know that one day you'll see it through. You'll see it through. You see it through, you see it through, you see it through. We're gonna live forever, forever, the afterlife. We're gonna live forever, forever, the afterlife. Talking to myself and I can't focus. Yeah, I'm broken, the door is closing. Wanna be a part of something more than this. I've lost control of it. Oh, seeing the stars reminds me of you. Oh, oh, oh. You left me with scars, but I know that one day you'll see it through. You see it through. You see it through. You see it through. You see it through. We're gonna live forever, forever, the afterlife. We're gonna live forever, forever, the afterlife.
And it is time. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Tyler. Super pumped to have you hanging out with me. Do want to let you know right now, I am live on 3 different platforms, so you can join on whatever platform works best for you. I am live on LinkedIn and YouTube. If you just search for my name, Tyler Ramsby, you should be able to find me. And over on Twitch, if you go to hacksmarter.live, it should redirect you to my Twitch page. But yo, super excited to have you taking the time to hang out with me. And hey, long time no talk. I think it's been almost a week since I've been on here. I have released a few videos in the meantime. Yo, if y'all haven't caught my Hack Smarter rap song, check it out. For those of you who have seen it, would love to hear your thoughts on it. For those unaware, today, end of day, 5 o'clock my time, I released my OSCP diss. Now, this is a song I wrote about a year and a half ago. So I would have wrote this song in October of 2022, I think is when I wrote it, and then recorded it a little bit after that, but never shared it. And the reason I didn't share it was, well, I didn't know what would happen. I totally go off on OffSec and OSCP. Here, let me make sure this doesn't come through. All right, I thought I heard audio coming through, and I don't want you guys to be hearing audio. But anyways, dude, what up, Nate? Yeah, Nate, I released it, bro. I did. End of day today, I did release it. It's called Hack Smarter. You got to check it out. I redid the audio and the video weren't synced up, so I quickly synced that back up and was just like YOLO. The reason I released it is another YouTuber, actually a really, really genuinely nice person, Toddy. I might be saying his name wrong. He has some really good content on YouTube, but he did a post on LinkedIn that I thought was a good post, and what a lot of people were saying on the post is the only people who trash talk OffSec are those who aren't skilled enough to pass the OSCP. And I was like, oh man, I passed that beast on my first attempt in 8 hours. Hopefully that shows that I'm skilled enough, but I did it without using their material because their material was trash. I was like, look, this is the time. I'm gonna unleash this beast. We're gonna let this rap song go, and released it. So I doubt anything will come of it. I even asked ChatGPT, like, is there any way OffSec can punish me for releasing this song? And ChatGPT basically told me no. So I'm taking my legal advice from ChatGPT. But if they do, like, the worst they can do is be like, yo, Tyler, you can't take any more of our exams. Word, I wasn't going to take any more of your exams. Or, Tyler, we're going to take away your OSCP. And I'd be like, all right, whatever. Like, my 9 CVEs look better than the OSCP anyway. So if they want to take it away, they'll just get a part 2 rap song about how I hurt their feelings. So that is released. If anyone hasn't, let's listen to it together, shall we? We might as well. For those of you who haven't heard it, let me get it pulled up and we will listen to it together, and would love to get y'all your reaction to it. Let me get it pulled up. And then I'll share my screen, and we'll check it out for those of you who haven't heard it. Before we start recording and all that good stuff, this is just a live part. We're not recording anything right now, so this is just the hey, let's hang out, chat on stream. All right, y'all. Ladies and gentlemen, the world premiere of Hack Smarter, the official rap song. All right, let's listen to it. I want to tell you guys a story. Let me take you back to December of 22, almost a year ago, when I passed the OSCP exam. Now, I passed it on my first attempt in 8 hours, but I was beyond frustrated. Matter of fact, I almost came to the point where I left pen testing altogether. I spent $1,500 of my own money. I did not have an employer who could pay for it. Spent $1,500 of my own money to get what amounted to a bloated PDF and a broken lab environment and a Discord and a forum filled with riddles because people didn't want to give away too much information about the educational environment. I am sick and tired of gatekeeping certifications. I am sick and tired of overpriced cybersecurity education. This song is dedicated to TCM Security, TryHack Me, and Hack the Box, making cybersecurity actually accessible to other people. Let's go. I better win a Grammy for this one. Kind of weird watching myself with me in the corner of myself. For $1,500, tell me what did I get? Upload a PDF and a desire to quit, and an org that is deaf to the students who sit to take a test or will assess if CTFs are legit. I confess that I'm impressed that somehow you benefit from having terrible support and VMs that randomly brick. But don't talk about it, cause I'll take away your cert. Well, let's talk about it. Yes, talk about the fact that you're trash as you grab at the cash in the past on your back. Let's attack with the facts that you're actually bad. It's a glorified CTF cert, that's a fact. And I'm still here. Pass your test in one attempt and I won't disappear. I'm gonna vent for every sentence, you better listen here. It's OS 56537 with no fear. With no fear. It's OS 56537 with no fear. With no fear. It's OS 56537 with no fear. Amazing. I must say so myself. I haven't even looked at the comments. That was lit on fire, heck yeah. Only olds can understand this pain. I think they maybe mean the old exam environment. So to their credit, I've heard it's a lot better now, but I wouldn't know because I'm not going to spend $1,600 to, get 90 days of access. This is cool. I did see this one. This is really good. I underestimated you, and I said so did OffSec. Malware Cube, he works at TryHackMe. Fire, rap smarter, great. Oh, I saw this one. Dear Tyler, regret to inform you that your OSP certification is no longer valid. Regards, OffSec team. Oh man, too much fun, y'all. Too much fun. Get some of this stuff closed out now, and we'll get our hacking underway. But hey, before we dive into hacking, if anyone has questions about careers, pen testing, hey, rapping, let me know. Oh, I know they have the Red J song. Let's listen to it. All right, let's listen. No, I'm not gonna listen to it. There is a song. I think it's called "Try Harder." It's like the OffSec theme song. But I need some of these nerdcore rappers, like the OffSec fanboys. So if there's any nerdcore OffSec fanboy rappers out there, I will do a rap battle with you live on stream. This is my invitation to you. If you want to defend OffSec, we can jump on stream here. We can jump on Discord. I'll drop a beat, and we can freestyle back and forth, and we'll see who wins the rap battle. So there's my open invitation. Any nerdcore OffSec fanboys, let's get it. Well, I'll invite you to stream, and we can go back and forth. That would actually be a lot of fun. I don't know if anyone's gonna listen and join me on that, but that would be a blast. Hey, I'm missing chat on Twitch. Let me check out Twitch. Exam Slayer said, hello from Jupiter, Florida. What up, dude? Hunterbot said, yeah, I think I read that post and I commented on it. Love the rap song. Thank you, my friend. What's the OS numbers? Exam Slayer, when you sign up for an OSCP or an OffSec exam, you receive an identifier. So that OS number is my OffSec identifier. So anyone from OffSec who works in their org can easily look up my OSCP number just to prove to them I'm not hiding my identity from you. This is not my hacker handle. Tyler Ramsby is my real name. I'm not hiding. 100% said I'm going in. Jinja said that was hard. Yeah, pretty much everything on the song was on point, says Hunterbot, who also has the OSCP. Yeah, Gromit said it's like his prison number. Spot on. It's basically my prison number. Amazing. Let me check out LinkedIn. Hey, if you guys are on LinkedIn, you leave a comment and I don't respond right away, my next diss song is going to be towards LinkedIn because I can't fix their freaking live platform. Comments like when I was interviewing Symnatic. Here, let me fix my headphones real quick. When I was interviewing Symnatic or Ben from TryHackMe, we had like 40 comments on LinkedIn and none of them showed up until after the stream was over. So I missed all the comments and questions on LinkedIn. So I apologize if anyone was part of that live stream from LinkedIn. But that was, if you missed that, would also encourage you to go back to my YouTube channel and watch that. We're not going to watch it together because it's like an hour long. But Ben Erickson, aka Symnatic, is one of the OGs at TryHackMe. He was one of the original TryHackMe employees. He was hired when there was only 4 employees, including 2 of the co-founders. He was actually full-time at TryHackMe before the co-founders were, and he's been at TryHackMe kind of from the beginning. So we had a really fun chat. Was that Monday or Tuesday? I think that was Tuesday. Yesterday. Man, time flies. So if you missed that, would encourage you to check that out. It was really fun to talk to him. We had about 140 people join us live for that. We gave away a bunch of TryHackMe vouchers. But another thing I want to share with you guys, this is just for you as the live audience. This isn't even publicly announced yet, but with Pwn Labs, we're going to do some Pwn Labs today. I'm just going to pick a random lab and work through it, a free lab. I'm going to choose a free lab so you guys can join me on Pwn Labs. But what we're going to do at Pwn Labs is we're going to be giving away 3 one-year subscriptions to Pwn Labs, but it's not going to be as random as a giveaway. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do a contest. So we're going to pick one of the free labs on Pwn Labs, I think one of the Azure ones, so a completely free one, and we're going to ask people to do the lab and submit like a write-up or report about the lab, and then we will choose the top 3 best write-ups, and those 3 people will get a year-long premium access to Pwn Labs that will also include the new cyber range that's coming out in April called Thunderdome. If you haven't heard them talk about Thunderdome, Thunderdome is super cool. So if you've ever done Hack the Box Pro Labs, where it's more of an enterprise environment, that's what Thunderdome's going to be. It's going to be a much more realistic enterprise environment, but all in the cloud, and there's going to be 9 flags that you need to get. It's going to cover Azure, AWS, and GCP, and I can tell you from personal experience that it's super awesome and really realistic. I, of course, have early access to it, and so I've been going through it, providing some QA and feedback on it. I think I have the first 4 or 5 flags. I don't quite remember where I'm at, but I'm about halfway through, and it's seriously incredible that this is going to be available to all premium subs. And hey, even if you don't win a premium sub, y'all, you can get an annual premium sub to Pwn Labs for only $200 for the entire year, which anyone else, if you know cloud security and trying to learn cloud pen testing on a hosted platform, that's like an insane price, like almost too good to be true. To give you kind of a taste, the alternative that gives like a similar level of quality is Hack the Box with they have 3 cloud labs like Cyclone and something else. Black Sky might be one of them. But to get access to those, your company needs to get an enterprise license, which I think is around $10,000 for a year, and then you can get access to their labs. So for only $200 a year as an individual, you can get access to all the premium labs on Pwn Labs as well as Thunderdome when it comes out. So just stay on the lookout for that. We're going to announce that formally next week, all the information on it, but just know more content, more giveaways are coming out. And as usual, I'm not going to charge anything because I don't like charging stuff. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything on chat. Actually, I need to switch some things around so I can get all the chat monitored. Then we'll eventually dive into things. Oh, shoot. I freaking did the wrong thing. Hold up. Sorry, guys. I need to take you. Open new tab. And if anyone else has any other questions, feel free to ask them. We can just kind of chill and hang out before we start recording for YouTube. Oreo said, back when THM put a smile on my face. Man, you must not like THM. All right, let me refresh LinkedIn, make sure I'm not missing comments. Adriana says, today feels like Friday. Yo, what up, Adriana? Hopefully I'm saying your name right. Maybe it's Adriana. I have no idea. I might be mispronouncing that, but hey, good to have you hanging out. And excellent job last Friday on your own live stream. That was super exciting. I was there for a good chunk of it until the end of my workday. Then I had to go make supper, go upstairs and do supper stuff. But congratulations on kicking off your first stream last Friday. And you're doing it every Friday, right? At least I'm actually going to pull you up. I'm pretty sure you are. I'll pull you up on LinkedIn. I will join you again this Friday. Yeah, okay, here's a post about it. This Friday at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. So if y'all do not know who I'm talking to, because it sounds like I'm talking to a wall, Adriana or Adriana, I don't know how to say your name. I'll share her LinkedIn here. Hopefully this is cool with you. I'm pretty sure it is. But she just started live streaming on Fridays. Let me share my screen. And she's live streaming all about project management type stuff. So here's her post. Would encourage you to check it out. She streams at 5:30 Eastern on Fridays. On LinkedIn is when it was last time. And she also works at TryHackMe as a marketing operations manager. So if you're interested in some project management and some organizational type stuff and kind of an AMA on that area, check out her LinkedIn, and I think you'll enjoy that stream. But once again, she does that on Fridays at 5:30 Eastern. Switch back to my screen, get my different VMs pulled up. Exam Slayer said, what kind of a computer rig do you have? So I have a few different computers, but with this specific computer that I'm streaming from, it's actually not that high end for streaming. It's a high end gaming computer. So I have like the GTX. Oh man, I don't even remember my graphic card. Let me check what my graphic card is. I have the GeForce RTX 3070. Here, I'll show you this. So this is my graphic card, which is quite a high-end graphic card because I use this primarily for gaming, but it's also my personal computer, so I use it for streaming. But the reason I say it's not that great for streaming is it doesn't have that much RAM. So I only have 16 gigs of RAM now. I could always upgrade, of course. But the issue I run into when I do Azure Labs, because I need a Windows VM, is I cannot run a Kali VM, OBS, and stream to all three platforms and run a Windows VM. My computer just kind of melts. So when I do that, I actually use the Tyler Cloud, aka my local network, and I have another computer running a Windows Server VM, and I RDP into it. So honestly, my streaming rig that I'm using right now isn't that high end outside of gaming. So in other words, you can stream with whatever you got, y'all. Before this, I also just used a laptop. Before I had this computer, I just used a Dell gaming laptop, starting with 8 gigs of RAM, I think, when I first started streaming. I upgraded that to 16 gigs, but start now. All right, sweet. More questions. I'll answer questions as long as we want before we dive into labs. Vin said, Tyler, with all the cyber attack on the news, which country do you think is strongest on the defense offense side? Probably, and hopefully this doesn't come off as like, yay, America, because I am in the United States. But I think the United States probably has the strongest cyber program, and not like known, but more of the, what's the group called? Here. The group for the United States APT group. The NSA. The NSA APT name. Equation Group, yes. So Equation Group is likely the NSA, right? It's classified as an APT. It's the APT of the U.S., unit of the United States National Security Agency. Kaspersky describes them as one of the most sophisticated cyber attack groups in the world and the most advanced we have seen, operating alongside the creators of Stuxnet and Flame. Most of their targets have been Iran, Russia, Pakistan, Afghanistan, India, Syria, and Mali. The name originated from the group's extensive blah, blah, but the Equation Group is like as elite as it can get, and this is the NSA, likely, the U.S. government. And they've done some crazy stuff. I believe Eternal Blue actually comes from the Equation Group, as well as a few other things. So I think for good or for bad, to answer your question, Vin, I think the United States probably has the strongest, especially offensive arm in the APT world. Would be curious about the rest of you all. If you agree with me, if you disagree with me, would love to hear from you in chat. Kelvin said, what would you do differently if you have to start all over again on this path of becoming a penetration tester, like area to focus on and cert-wise? This is going to sound kind of, hopefully this doesn't come off as arrogant, but I probably wouldn't have done really much of anything differently. I stumbled into, I think, a good pathway. Like, many of you know this if you join me regularly, but I haven't even been in IT for that long. So I got my first IT job, I think it was 2021 was my first IT job at IT support level 1, and now we're only a few years later, and I am a mid-level pen tester with 9 CVEs. So I'm pumped just about that in general. I don't think I would do much differently. I got a degree right away. Like, I have a bachelor's in cybersecurity, which isn't really needed for pen testing, but happy I have it in case I ever leave pen testing. Having that bachelor's degree does get past that HR smokescreen. I do have the OSCP for what it's worth, but to be fair, I got my job as a pen tester before I had the OSCP. So the OSCP does not even get credit for me being a pen tester. But that does help you get past that HR smokescreen as well. But I don't know. I don't know what I would do differently. We started the Work Smarter community. I started streaming. Like, everything's worked out really well as I've pursued this career. I think the best decision I made was honestly YouTube. In the very beginning, 2 years ago, I just started sharing what I was learning about. My first video was how I got my degree at WGU, and then I just started live streaming. Like, I'd pick a random machine, literally same as I do now, and just share like, hey guys, I'm a noob. I'm going to share with you as I learn. Hopefully you find this encouraging. And it's been really cool. Like, through YouTube, I've been able to meet Heath Adams. I've been able to meet John Hammond. I've been able to meet my friend Amoeba Man from Try Hack Me, Simnatic from Try Hack Me, Matt Kiley from Huntress. I've been interviewed by Jerry on Simply Cyber. I got to speak at Simply CyberCon right after John Strand. Spoke at a few different events. Like, it's been really cool. Like, the opportunities just being on YouTube have opened up for me. Has been so much fun. And the other part that hopefully you guys see is the way I try to set my YouTube channel apart from others is I don't have a bunch of sponsorships. Actually, I don't have any sponsorships. Now, I think I'm going to release a standalone video about this because I want to get more people's thoughts. But I have intentionally turned down multiple sponsorships. I've been offered, like, I think the highest pay was $500 for like an 8-minute video. But now pretty regularly I get emails from different businesses that are like, hey, can you sponsor us? And I even made a few videos, like rough drafts for them. But after going further down that track, I just decided, no, like, I don't want to do sponsorship. Maybe I'll change my mind in a few years. I have no idea. But like, guys, I make enough money as a pen tester. I don't need your money. So that's the reason when I do coaching, it's donate what you can to a nonprofit of your choice. I don't want, nor do I need your money. So I'm not peddling random products like, hey, buy the Tyler hoodie. Like, I don't want your money. You keep your money. And I don't want to have sponsored videos, because then if I have a bunch of sponsored videos, it's hard to tell for a YouTuber or an online personality when they do a lot of sponsorships whether or not the product they're talking about they really do believe in, or like, hey, this is a sponsored video, this video is brought to you by blah blah blah. You guys can know if I tell you a product or a platform is awesome, it's because I really believe it, not because they're paying me. I've been paid a few times. Like, I think I got paid to do Advent of Cyber for Try Hack Me, but I only got paid for the one walkthrough video I did, and I streamed every single day and made a rap song. I didn't get paid for that, but I'm not sponsored by Try Hack Me. I'm not sponsored by Hack the Box. I do work at Pwn Labs very part-time, and by part-time, guys, I work for free. I don't even get paid. The Pwn Labs partnership was more of the reason I'm like a formal employee, even though I'm a volunteer, is so I could sign like an NDA and stuff. So I have access to all of the upcoming cyber ranges and things before they're released, before they're shared with the public, so I can do QA and stuff on it. But even that, guys, I'm like a volunteer. So I don't talk about Pwn Labs because they're paying me, because they're not paying me. I talk about them because I really do think their platform is awesome, and have a cool partnership with them where I get to provide some QA and video walkthroughs. But you guys already know this. I was doing this for free before I joined them. I was already releasing regular videos about cloud pen testing using Pwn Labs because it's a cool platform. So totally went to a tangent there, but would love to hear your guys' thoughts. I think that's what might separate me from other tech YouTube channels, for better or for worse. Wazar said, so thank you, Wazar. I love hearing other perspectives. He said over on YouTube, I think you should do sponsorships. Why not get paid for the recommendations you make anyway? Also helps us know who to trust because you've actually taken their money. I mean, maybe it helps you know who to trust, but I don't know, guys. Like, some of these companies will pay you quite a bit of money to make videos for them. So when you see someone make an entire video about a company, it's not necessarily because that person actually uses them or trusts them, but it's like, hey, they need to pay for marketing, they need to pay for graphics. I'm not mad at them, but they need to pay for it. I even talked to John. When I asked this question pretty bluntly to John Hammond, when I interviewed him, I just asked him, like, how do you find that balance? Because he does a lot of sponsored videos, but he also has a massive platform. He has over 1 million subscribers. So honestly, companies should be paying him to be mentioned by him. But I asked him, how do you find that balance? And he even said it's a struggle for him to figure out a good balance there, because you don't want to come off as a sellout and like, every video is sponsored, blah, blah. Like, you don't know what to trust. So I'm not sure if sponsored videos really help you know who to trust. But recommendations I make anyway, I make those all the time without even being paid. So, like, here are my recommendations. Here are my unofficial sponsors. Try Hack Me, Hack the Box, Pwn Labs, Cato. and Work Smarter, my own community that I founded. Those are my sponsors that don't pay me anything, but the reason I recommend them all is because I really believe in them, not because I'm getting a kickback, but I really believe in everything that they're doing. And Simply Cyber, I should throw them out there as well. They're also a super cool community, cool organization. So those are the main ones. Oh, and TCM, I keep forgetting ones. TCM's Academy and just their team is cool. So those are my unofficial sponsors, but they don't pay me anything for better or for worse. If any of them are watching, since I already promote you guys all the time, since I already talk about you, then it doesn't look gimmicky if you sponsor me. So if any of you orgs want to throw me some money, I mean, I'll take it, but I don't need it. Up to you. You make your decision. All right. What up, Zach? Good to have you here, my friend. Malware Cube said, we love you at Try Hack Me. All right, Malware Cube, can you tell Try Hack Me? I'll even make them another rap song. Can I at least get a free premium subscription? My goodness. I've been paying for my premium sub for like 3 years now. If y'all can just throw me a free premium subscription, I'll take that as my sponsorship from Try Hack Me. So, Malware Cube, you talk to Try Hack Me. If they don't, I might have to make a Try Hack Me diss song. Just kidding. Try Hack Me's awesome, y'all. That's where I've learned, like from the beginning, Try Hack Me has been my home platform. That's where I learned most of my stuff, y'all. From Try Hack Me. When I first wanted to get into IT, I of course have a degree in cybersecurity, but for those of you who have gone to school for cyber, you know that cybersecurity is a massive field, a massive domain. So I think I had maybe one course or maybe 2 courses on offensive security, but it goes nothing compared to like what you actually need to know to be a pen tester. So I am like the highest rank you can get on Try Hack Me. I spent a lot of time on Try Hack Me and still do, at least once a week. I'm streaming something from Try Hack Me. So, love it. Zach said, I started by blogging and documenting my TCM security journey. Yeah, dude, exactly that. And that's what I tell people even when I do coaching. The donate what you can coaching. I always want to throw that out because when people hear coaching, they think I'm charging money. But once again, I'm not. It's you donate what you can do, not nonprofit of your choice. But when I do coaching, the advice I give people is, one of the best things you can do if you want to get into the industry is begin by giving back to the community. And you might think, well, I don't have anything to give back. Yes, you do. We all have unique experiences, unique knowledge. And if you just begin by giving back, writing a blog, having a GitHub, making a YouTube channel, sharing what you're learning, sharing what you find interesting, it'll be really cool, the organic connections that you make. So don't wait till you think you have it figured out before you start giving back, because reality is you're never going to have it figured out. Like even John Hammond would say himself, he did when I talked to him, he doesn't even see himself as an expert. We're all noobs. We're all learning. We're all growing. Start giving back now. Start building those connections. And as you help other people, not from a place of expecting to get stuff out of them, but genuinely wanting to help other people, it's cool. It's cool the way that gives back to you. What is my THM rank at the top of Try Hack Me? I don't know. I'll tell you my rank. My rank is 4114 in the top 1%. So I'm not 0 day by any chance. He's still far ahead of me, but I've put in the work. I put in the time. As you can see my rank here. And remember the Papa Shell song? How does it go? McGritty will get caught from the 0x1s all the way up to the gods. And those of you who know Try Hack Me, you know 0x1 is your first rank, God is the last rank. That was my little Try Hack Me stuff I threw into that Papa Shell song. All right. Gromit said, give this man a sub. Hey, thank you, Gromit. And yeah, would appreciate a sub. I will say my primary platform is YouTube. So if you're watching on Twitch or LinkedIn, the best way to support me is to sub to my YouTube channel, because that's where I post all my videos. Like even Twitch doesn't have my recordings. All of that's on YouTube. If you just go to youtube.com and search for Tyler Ramsby, you'll be able to find my YouTube channel. But yeah, like, sub, subscribe, whatever that is. I'm bad at telling people to do that. But if you find my content helpful, please do. Would be cool. And also, the only really in-person event I go to is DEF CON. So if anyone is watching this and you're going to DEF CON this year, let me know. Would love to link up with you at DEF CON. Was thinking about trying to figure out how to do kind of a more informal get together, but I know DEF CON's going to be at a new location, but maybe even like one like Friday night or Saturday night, like 1 a.m, some crazy time like that, all meeting up and just kicking it for a little bit, hanging out. But if you're going to be at DEF CON, would love to meet you in person. The thing that sucks, y'all, about live streaming is it's just my talking head. I would love to hear your story and see what I can learn from you. So if you're going to be at DEF CON, would love to meet up, would love to hang out, grab some food, do whatever, and chat there. Plus, at least my first experience at DEF CON, I freaking didn't go to like any of the talks because the lines were too long. So all I did was like hang out in the chill out room. So if anyone else wants to hang out in the chill out room, complain about the lines, and do CTFs, I'll be at DEF CON. Would love to hang out with you. She's Adriana. I'm missing your comments because LinkedIn sucks. Let me get caught up on LinkedIn. Let's see. It's Adriana. Okay, I was saying it wrong. Oh, man. That's rough. At least I know how to say it now. Yeah, she said I've helped many people in the community. Appreciate it. Oh, she said Tiberius doesn't take many sponsorships either. Sweet. So me and Tiberius, we have the same philosophy in that way. You know, he is actually one of the guys I've never really talked to. Tiberius. I should see if I can interview him sometime. I know he's joined me on stream like at least once. I remember one time I was streaming. This is a long time ago, and I saw Tiberius in the chat, and I was like, yo, the Auto Recon dude is watching me right now. That was cool. And it's cool that he works at TCM now. So you better have a TCM affiliate account, just saying. If not, hit me up for that. I do have a TCM affiliate account, but I always forget to promote it. I have a TCM affiliate account, a Hack the Box affiliate account, and a Try Hack Me. Oh, and a Kato affiliate account, but I suck at like giving people my links. I just tell them like go to TCM and sign up at Academy or PNPT, but I don't give them my referral link. I probably should. Oh, cool. And she said they did a video for Kato at TCM as well, and they did it for free. That's awesome, especially with TCM's platform is massive compared to mine, and doing that for Kato is great. All right. Well, should we dive into things? I feel like I've already had a long night. I actually did an in-person podcast, guys, before jumping on stream. Actually, a local teenager lives about 25 minutes away in the neighboring town is doing a how do I spell that? Here, let me drop that real quick. Over in Twitch, Kato.io. But is doing a podcast, but in person. So it was one of the weird times where it wasn't remote, and they drove over to my house, and we chatted for like an hour right before I jumped on stream. So this is like my second episode of the night. But what we are going to do, y'all, is I want to pick a free lab. And I'm not even going to start the YouTube recording until we figure out what lab we're going to do. But I want to pick a free lab. Maybe we'll do latest labs. The completed thing doesn't work right now for this account. It works if you have an account. But I have two Pwn Labs account. I have my personal account, which is where I've done almost all my labs. But this account right here is my actual like Tyler at pwnlabs.io connected to that email. So it doesn't have all my labs completed in this account. But let's go ahead and pick a free lab that I haven't done yet. So I have done most of these. Have I done this one? Hold up. I don't think I've done this lab. Looking at the description. It sounds like fun though. Exploit weak bucket policies. Let's just glance at it real quick. Oh, wait, I said I wanted to do a free lab, didn't I? I don't think that's a free one. Let me jump back to the dashboard. I want to pick a free one so that you guys can follow along with me. In case you don't have a sub yet to Pwn Labs, give you a taste of what it's like. So let me find a free one. Or let me just show you. There's over 30 free labs. Like, look at all these. You guys don't even need a subscription. You just make a Pwn Labs account right now, and you have access to all of these free labs completely free. There is no catch, and it's amazing that they have that amount of hands-on cloud pen testing hosted in another platform. You don't have to host it in your own AWS account. Really is amazing. All right, so the first free lab I see, the latest free lab is this one. Identify the AWS account ID from a public S3 bucket. We created this beginner-friendly lab to teach a technique that can find an AWS account ID given a public S3 bucket and how this can be leveraged. So this is free. You guys can do it with me. Matter of fact, let me drop this link in all 3 platforms. Would encourage you to do this alongside of me. As usual, I'm going to go through it blind. Haven't prepped ahead of time. We'll figure it out as we go. Drop it in the comments. There we go. Okay, I dropped in all 3 platforms. And hey, Adriana, since you're here from TCM, my fun TCM story, and then we'll start recording for YouTube, is I applied for jobs at TCM Security twice now. This is back in the day. But I didn't even get to an interview. And I remember the last time I applied, I think it was, gosh, I don't remember the role. I think it was like a content creator role. This was before I was even at Rhino, before I was even a pen tester. So this would have been 2 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, but a content creator role opened up at TCM and I applied and I didn't get an interview, but then I turned the tables and then interviewed Heath on Twitch. I was like, yo, if TCM won't interview me, I'll interview them. And then I got to meet Heath, which is a lot of fun. Really, really nice person. But that's what I did. Since TCM wouldn't interview me, I interviewed Heath. It was a lot of fun. Like this Gizmo said, so boycott TCM. No, don't do that. TCM's awesome. And I think they ended up hiring like Alex, and Alex is super cool. I'm very grateful they hired him. I don't know if you guys ever watch Alex on stream. I think he streams Tuesdays. I get him and Tiberius the days they stream mixed up. But I watch almost all of his streams. I'll have it on while I'm working in pen testing and always learn a lot from Alex. I think we're going to collab at some point in time. I don't know if he'll watch this, but Alex messaged me on LinkedIn saying, hey, you should come join. I think he was going to work through my Try Hack Me room I created while I was hanging out with him. And I was like, yeah, dude, let's do it. Like, let me know the date. And he hasn't gotten back to me, but I'm sure he's super busy. But hopefully, y'all, in the near future, you'll catch me on the TCM stream hanging out with Alex one of these days. But okay. Oh, Adriana said Wednesdays now. So Wednesdays is when he is on. And like, here's the crazy thing about LinkedIn, Adriana. I don't even freaking see your comment. I see it in my notifications, but when I click my live stream, I don't see your comment. Maybe I need that restream stuff that everybody else uses. But that's like $50 a month to stream in full HD. So if TCM wants to sponsor me by giving me a restream account for free, I'll also take that. But all right. Let's start recording. Get a drink of water. Oh, actually, let me answer a real quick question from YouTube. Henji said, is the cybersecurity limited by ages? No. There's my answer. Wreck this Gizmo. I just dropped it. On Twitch, dude. I'll drop it again just for you. Maybe you just joined. It's a free lab. Everyone can do this with me. We can do it together. All right, I'm going to start recording and welcome people. Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to do some more Pwn Labs, and we're doing a completely free lab. So even if you do not have a Pwn Lab subscription, you are welcome to join me. We can work through this lab together. We can learn together. And hey, what might make this a little bit of a different approach than other videos that you watch is I have not prepped it. I haven't even looked at this room myself. So I'm looking at it for the very first time, and we will kind of struggle through this together, see what we can learn. But it's completely free. I'll put a link to the lab in the description of this video. So if you want to, go ahead and pull up the lab, pause my video, start the lab, and when your lab is started, unpause me, and let's do this together. But the lab that we are going to do is identify the AWS account ID from a public S3 bucket. I do just want to say, if you've never heard of Pwn Labs, you need to check it out. Pwn Labs offers hands-on cloud security training, both red team and blue team, and they cover Azure, AWS, and GCP, and there are over 30 completely free labs for you to do. And hey, even a premium subscription, y'all, is only $200 a year, which is going to give you access to the cyber ranges. The first cyber range is coming out in April, called Thunderdome. It is a realistic enterprise environment spanning across AWS, Azure, and GCP with a total of 9 flags, and I have early access to it, so I can actually say from hands-on experience, it is amazing. Like not one of the coolest cloud lab I have stumbled across myself. So the $200 a year will give you access to that cyber range when it releases in April. But this one, as I said before, is a completely free lab. So you don't need to have a subscription. You can pull it up and we can work through this together. So identify the AWS account ID from a public S3 bucket, and we are given our entry point of creds and an IP address. And one thing just to draw your attention to is some Pwn labs, it feels weird to say Pwn labs, some labs are suitable for a CTF approach, and it will let you know. If it's suitable for a CTF approach, it means you can kind of treat it like a black box. Think about Hack the Box, where you're just given an IP and you dive into it. Other ones are more of a guided lab, and that's what this one is. It's not suitable for a CTF approach, so more of a guided lab. But we're going to kind of treat it like both. We'll stumble through it a little bit on our own. We'll go through the walkthrough. We'll go back and forth. And like I shared before, I haven't looked at this lab at all, so I don't even know what to expect, but it's going to be fun. We're going to learn through it together. The first thing I'm going to do is let's get our notes pulled up. I use Cherry Tree, but you can use whatever note thing you prefer. Let me open up a file and notes.ctb. I think this is the right one. Okay, good. I have one for Thunderdome as well, but obviously you guys can't see Thunderdome yet until it comes out. And then once the flags in Thunderdome are found, I'm not going to stream it right away because I want people to be forced to work through it on their own. But once all the flags are found, I will stream Thunderdome and walk you through that Enterprise lab as well. I just changed my code front as well. For some reason on this VM, my preferences here in Cherry Tree reset every time. But let's go ahead and insert a new Cherry node, and we'll call this... I already forgot the name. So account ID from S3 bucket. We'll just call it that. And we will go ahead and do credentials. So the credentials that we're starting with. And if you're totally new to AWS and you don't know what an access key ID or secret access key is, hey, welcome to the video. I will guide you through this step by step to help you understand it. But let's go ahead and grab our access key ID here. Access keys are sort of like a username and password for AWS, but I will show you how to authenticate and everything with these access keys. And we also have an IP, so maybe a web server or something that's running here. So we'll go ahead and grab our IP. DatTail said, switching to Twitch from LinkedIn. LinkedIn is awful. I know, like, yo, LinkedIn, step yo game up, bruh. Like, I'm happy I get to stream to LinkedIn, but it's so hard to do this. Okay, Adriana said because LinkedIn is awful, it never loads them. Restream does work. I'll find you on YouTube. Yeah, okay, cool. YouTube or Twitch, Adriana. Twitch is hacksmarter.live. We'll bring you to the Twitch page. Otherwise, just search for my name on YouTube, and you'll be able to find me. But here we are. Here are our credentials. We'll make... Oh, you're DatTail. I found you on Twitch. Okay, cool. I wouldn't have connected Adriana to DatTail, but hey, it works. Are you going to be streaming, Adriana, on Twitch as well, or just LinkedIn when you stream on Friday? What is your plan? All right, secret access key, blah, blah. So let's grab our scenario. We'll just kind of call this our scope, and we'll read through this together and see what we're working with. I actually want to do just text. There we go. We'll make this H1 and make it a little bit bigger. So here is our scenario. In a world increasingly reliant on cloud technologies, the ability to expose and leverage even the smallest oversights has become a coveted skill. Amidst this backdrop, a leading tech enterprise has reached out to our specialized cyber team, that is HackSmarter Security, for assistance and have provided the IP address of their website. Okay, so it is a web server. Your objective, use this IP to pinpoint their AWS account ID via public S3 bucket so we can commence the process of enumeration. So we're kind of in the information gathering process of maybe more of a red team engagement. And Adriana said both. Okay, cool. So Twitch and LinkedIn is where she will be streaming. But let's go ahead and dive into this. Now, because we're given an IP, it's likely maybe just a web server, but we should scan the entire IP and see if there's anything else that is listening. So we're going to grab this IP first. Before I do anything with these credentials, let's just grab this IP. And let's use Rust Scan. We use rustscan -A is to pass it our target. That's our IP. And the cool thing about rustscan is you can then pass the outcome of rustscan over to nmap. So we can say, hey, whatever ports are open, run this nmap script on it. And the way we do that is we do this double dash, which I think just means, hey, pass it over to nmap. And then I wanted to do the -A flag on nmap. What that tells nmap to do is run basically all the enumeration scripts at it. And hey, because Adrian is here, learned this from TCM. I learned this nmap command from doing his PEH course. But let's go ahead and do that. Right away, we see we have port 80 open. For those of you who know pen testing, know security, you know that port 80 is likely going to be HTTP, which means a web server. So we can go ahead and begin checking that out right away. And the other thing we can do is let's go ahead and open up Cato. You guys heard me talking about Cato before I started recording for the live stream. But if you've never heard of Cato, Cato is a web auditing proxy tool. Think about like Burp Suite, but a lot more affordable, written from the ground up in Rust. And if you've ever used Burp Suite Community Edition, the free version of Burp Suite, and you try to do an intruder attack, you know that the rate limiting makes intruder attacks nearly impossible. A free version of Cato, there is no rate limiting. You can do full intruder attacks, however many threads you want, without being rate limited. And a premium sub to Cato is only about $10 a month, well worth the money and way more affordable than Burp Suite Pro. So let me show off Cato. We'll pull Cato up. And you'll see I updated it recently. So I used to use a CLI, but I started using the desktop instance of Cato because they have built in a web browser. So you think about Burp Suite's web browser is that proxy. Cato, for a long time, just did the proxy through the browser, but now they have a web browser built into the platform. We'll see if it all works for me, because I don't think I tested it after installing it. While that pulls up, we can just navigate to the web server ourselves. Let me go ahead and grab the IP here, and we'll just do HTTP that. Maybe. Don't fail on me. Did I kill it? Here, let's make sure I can ping it. No, what happened? Did my Rust scan like kill the server? Guys, I may have killed the server with rustscan. Oh no, that's not good. No, you don't need a VPN. You do not need a VPN for the free labs. And this is a public IP, so you don't need to be on the VPN to hit this public IP. The web server crashed though. I mean, that is something you might encounter in the real world. Let me just turn the lab off. We'll give it a few minutes and I'll give some story time. But even in a real pen test, that is something you want to be careful of not killing web servers. Let me go ahead and turn the lab back on. I'll just refresh it. Oh, you can actually see there it is. It's loading now. Just slowly. See how we have Mega Big Tech right there? Let me turn the lab back on. Does it give me the same IP? Is that the same IP I had before? There it is. So I don't know if I wonder if, for those of you doing the lab with me, let me know if you have the same IP. Maybe we were all scanning at the same time and we just like momentarily DOSed the web server. But it is back online, and like I said before, you don't need to be on a VPN, so anyone can hit this web server. So maybe we broke it. We broke it in some way. Let me do an nmap scan just on that port though. I don't think that'll be too aggressive for it. We'll let that kind of run in the background. And here we have Cato pulled up. We will go ahead and create a project, and we'll just call this like S3, maybe something like that. And there we go. We can actually see our scan is done. So I'm going to grab that and drop it in my notes here. So we do have an Apache web server that is running. I don't know if there's other things on here, but I'm guessing it's just the web server. And 2.4.52 is a relatively new version of Apache, so it's not going to be some like crazy CVE that we find and it pops up. Wizar said it's the same IP. So yeah, I think the issue is because I'm live streaming and you guys are following along with me. It may just be all of us were hitting this machine. So stop scanning it. Don't break the machine. Be nice to it. It's shared infrastructure for the free labs. The premium labs, you get on the VPN, you have a private one. But I suppose the free labs, that's the price of it being free, is we're all hitting the same box right now. But let me show you Cato. Don't even know if we're going to need it, but let's go ahead and open up Cato. Looks like we already have an update available for it, but we can go ahead and open up a Cato browser, and we'll just use Chrome. And then we don't have to worry about any of the configuration. So let me go ahead and just grab this IP again, and we'll open it in our Cato browser here. And we'll go ahead and just make sure everything is working. I'm going to throw Cato over to the side, and we'll throw this browser over to the side. And if I just turn on intercept, oh yeah, I can already see it's going through and we're getting a request. So once again, don't know if that's going to come in handy, but we'll keep it open in case we do. Looking at this website, I'm hovering my mouse over here to see if there's anything interesting going on about these. And I can see by looking in the bottom left corner, these all just go to home. So there's nothing built into this. We have a shop our favorite Mega Big Tech products, but I don't see any tools for actually shopping, pulling up a cart, or anything like that. Scroll. We do have some information here, although that just goes to, that's static as well. It doesn't bring us to anything. It seems all of this is static, so we don't have like a shopping cart or anything like that. And one thing to check when things are static, especially if we think about an S3 bucket, if you consider an S3 bucket, S3 buckets can be used to host static websites. So sometimes if you look at the source code, you might be able to see the bucket. So let's go ahead and check this out. If we just right click and view page source, let's see if my hunch is correct. And it is. So we have this right here. We know this is an S3 bucket because of the name that's in it. And if you're new to AWS, you're like, what the heck is an S3 bucket? It's just a place to store files. I like to think of it of kind of like FTP for the cloud. So if you're used to a traditional CTF and you see that port 21 is open for FTP, there's really two things that you check. Number one, you see, can I access the FTP server anonymously? And if you can, is there any interesting files that are there? Well, it's the same with an S3 bucket. When there's an S3 bucket, one of the first things you can try is saying, hey, can I access the S3 bucket without credentials? And if so, you might be able to list files and find sensitive information. The other thing to check is if yes, you can, what an FTP server, at least what I do is I see, can I write to the FTP server? Because I've had a few times where the FTP server is actually hosting the website. And if you can write to the FTP server, you can write a web shell and then get shell access. Well, it's the same with an S3 bucket. You want to ask the question, can I write to the S3 bucket? Because if you can actually upload a malicious script, which I demonstrated in a video I released earlier this week about how I leveraged a writable S3 bucket, and I used that writable S3 bucket to hijack a script to embed JavaScript to do a cross-site scripting attack, and we stole an admin session ID by hijacking a writable S3 bucket. So if you want to see that attack in action, check out that video that I released. I think I released it on Monday. But we have an S3 bucket here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Maybe I'm going to zoom in. There we go. And I need to get my screenshot tool open up on my host machine. People often ask what I use for screenshots. I use Lightshot is what I use for screenshots. So let's grab a screenshot of this for our notes. We have found the S3 bucket here hosting the static website. So we'll go to our notes here, drop that, and just so we don't have to keep going back, we will grab the link to the S3 bucket as well, copy the link address, and we'll drop it in there. So then the S3 bucket's name would be Mega Big Tech. The .s3.amazonaws.com for the full URL is just the standard URL, but the name of the actual S3 bucket is Mega Big Tech. And let's just go ahead and navigate to that and see, like, if I back out, can I list files? I get access denied there. What if I go here? So I can list files, but that's not necessarily a vulnerability because this is just hosting a static web server. So unless it's going to have something sensitive here, That's probably not going to be super helpful for us, and just looking at it doesn't look sensitive. But I also want to show you another way that you can list buckets with the console. If you have the AWS CLI installed, and if you don't, I think it's just sudo apt install AWS CLI, but I do have it installed. And I obviously don't even know how to do version. But AWS version, I have it installed. But one way to list an S3 bucket anonymously is AWS S3, then ls, just like in Linux, a list command, then S3 again, because AWS likes to be confusing. And then we want to grab the name of our bucket, which is Mega Big Tech. And then we'll do no sign request. What no sign request means, hey, try this as an anonymous user and see if we can list the bucket. And you can see we are, but the only thing we can list is images. And then we can see the different images, but nothing sensitive here, nothing that stands out to me. We're not going to download them and do some silly CTF steganography type stuff because Pwn Labs isn't annoying. And I highly doubt we have to use steganography to complete this lab. Let's go back to our scenario. Remember, it did say that this isn't suitable for a CTF approach, so we probably are going to have to look at the walkthrough, but I still want to mess around with this myself. We want to use the IP to pinpoint the AWS account ID via public S3 bucket. So we have a public S3 bucket right here. So then we have to figure out, can we get the AWS account from the S3 bucket? So let's go ahead and read about that. We'll just type in get AWS account from S3 bucket and see what research has been done on this particular thing. And, you know, maybe there's a tool. Let's append it with GitHub. Okay, this actually looks like a promising tool. S3 account search. This tool lets you find the account ID an S3 bucket belongs to, which, hey, that sounds exactly like what we are trying to do. For this to work, you need to have at least one of these permissions. Permission to download a known file and to list the contents, which we do have both of those permissions. Additionally, you'll need a role that can assume with one of these permissions in the bucket you're examining. So you need your own AWS account, in other words, which I bet that's the reason they gave us creds here. So I bet these credentials are for like our own AWS account, not like a compromised account. Well, I'll know when I look at the walkthrough, but I bet that's why we're given these. Often, some AWS policies, you can bypass some things by using your own AWS account. And I'm guessing Pwn Labs is just being nice to us and saying, hey, you don't have to use your own AWS account. We'll spin one up for you. Let me go ahead and just see if that is the case. The way we can connect to an AWS account is we'll do AWS configure, and then we can give it a profile. And we'll just call this Hack Smarter, and then it's going to prompt us for our access key ID, so that's sort of like our username. And once again, I think this is our own AWS account, not the one that the bucket is in. Instead, this is what we're going to run our tool out of, because then we'll have the permissions to run the tool. But you could also just use your own AWS account if you have a free tier AWS account. Let me go ahead and copy the secret. We'll drop it in here, and we'll just use US East 1 for default region, because that's what I always use. And now we're going to take a drink of water. Now that we have our drink of water, we want to run the whoami command in AWS. Now, in Linux, it's really easy, right? In Linux, you just type whoami. Same with Windows. Well, AWS hates us. So AWS makes everything more complicated. To run a whoami command in AWS, we have to do this, right? Let me just clear my screen. We have to do AWS, STS, get caller identity, profile, Hack Smarter. See, I told you freaking AWS hates us and wants to confuse us on the syntax. But that will allow us to do this. And it calls us the S3 user. Can we do AWS S3 LS profile Hack Smarter? This allows us to list any S3 buckets that might be in our account. And okay, we can't list buckets. So yeah, I'm pretty sure this account right here is different than the account that we're targeting. Pwn Labs is giving us this account just so we have access to an account to run tools in, like this tool right here. So let's see how this tool works. This package is available on PyPy. You can, for example, use one of these commands. Pipx is recommended. And yes, let's use pipx because that will do it in a Python virtual environment and it won't break stuff in our environment. So We'll use pipx to install that. And while it installs, let's see how we can do this. So with a bucket, so S3 account search, are we passing it our role that we have, or start from a specified source profile? So I'm guessing this account is the account of my S3 bucket. Oh, sorry, Wizar. I'll keep that in mind. Wizar over on YouTube said, please don't clear screen. I know it's cringe, but we're following along. My bad, my friend. Thank you for letting me know. I'll make sure I don't do that. At least I'll try not to. It's just my habit to hit clear, but I'll try not to do that. So how this works, let's understand this so we're not just script kiddies firing stuff off. There's an IAM policy condition S3 resource account that is meant to be used to give access to S3 in specified accounts, but also supports wildcards. By constructing the right patterns and seeing which ones will lead to a deny or an allow, we can determine the account ID by discovering it one digit at a time. So we're just like brute forcing the account ID based on the response. We verify that we can access the object or bucket with the provided role. We assume the same role again, but this time add a policy that restricts our access to S3 buckets that exists in an account stream with 0. If our access is allowed, we know that the account ID has to start with 0. If the request is denied, we try again with 1 as the first digit. We keep incrementing until our request is allowed and we find the first digit. Repeat this process for every digit using our discovered digits as a prefix. Okay. Well, it kind of makes sense. Let's see. Here is our ARN, which I think that's the information that we need if we look at this tool. So I'm actually just going to copy the syntax here. We'll copy that and we'll open up just our handy dandy Kali version of Notepad and we'll paste in our syntax. So let's go ahead and get our syntax right here. So when we ran the AWS S3 get caller identity, it gives us the ARN. This is a unique identifier for our account here. So I think that is what we're doing. Although it says role, I wonder if doing user should work fine as well. And then we want to give it our bucket that we're trying to get access to. And our bucket, remember, is Mega Big Tech, this bucket right here. I might totally be messing up this syntax, but let's give it a shot and just see what happens. Do I need to pass it my profile, though? Yeah, okay, let's do profile. Okay. An error occurred when calling the assume role operation. Is not authorized to perform assume role on the resource. Okay. I might have to look at the walkthrough because maybe I'm misunderstanding the AWS account that we are using. Let me also go to handy dandy ChatGPT here. Commands to enumerate roles in an AWS account. Just give me CLI commands. Don't explain stuff. So yeah, we can't list roles before I look at the walkthrough. Like I said, it is meant, the walkthrough is what you're supposed to use. So I'm kind of approaching this in the wrong way. But I think if you struggle yourself through it, you learn a little bit better. So what's this one? Sample code to find an AWS account ID of an S3 bucket using this technique. This code expects to be able to assume a role S3 find account. Do not run the code in anything other than the VPC that expects to care for this purpose, as it will break existing connectivity. S3. Okay, gotcha. So, I mean, this is a similar thing. I mean, this is very similar to the tool we were just using, this We Are Cloud R. What were the other syntax? So no, we have to be able to use the role. All right, let me look at the walkthrough. Since once again, not suitable for a CTF approach, which is what I'm doing. So I'm sure I'm missing something a little bit obvious here. So let's kind of go through this. If a hacker gets their hands on AWS account ID, they can try to figure out IAM roles, which we'll come back to that once you get access Okay, let's back up. Walkthrough. If you want to attempt this without reading the walkthrough, feel free. Okay, here's what we needed. Here's our role. The IAM user credentials you need are included in the entry point, and the role you consume is this. This is the information we needed. Okay, perfect. So I should have just at least read along to that part, and let's see if we can do some of this rest on just our own. So we have now this role. Let's go back to the command that, I'm not going to clear, sorry. Well, I mean, it's just junk on my screen now, so probably isn't helpful, but we'll still leave it here. Let's go back to the command that we were doing before, but let's replace with our leaky bucket role, as that was the key piece I was missing here about the role I need to assume, and let's hit enter. That's working. So remember, it's brute forcing through here, trying to find the account ID. And it's actually going faster than I would think, but I suppose it's only 10 digits that it has to brute force, so it wouldn't take terribly long to get the account ID, but it seems to be working. Ladies and gentlemen, we are actually getting somewhere. And we will allow it to do its thing. Curious for those of you in chat, hey, we're done. Who's all doing this with me? I know a few of you are. Let me know in chat if you're working through this lab alongside of me. Would love to hear from you. Know how many people are doing this with me. I'm going to grab this for my notes. And so we have our syntax that we used. And then we'll also grab a screenshot of this, copy, and drop that beast into Cherry Tree. And we found the account ID, but I'm guessing we now need to enumerate this account. So let's do some digging on it. What kind of things can we do to enumerate this account? Let's go over to ChatGPT. What are some ways to enumerate an AWS account with just the account ID? Jeffrey Allen said, any resources that you recommend for learning how to write better reports for pen testing? Yes, Hack the Box Academy has a very excellent module on report writing for pen testing, so you can check that out. It's in their pen tester job role path. I also believe Black Hills InfoSec did a webcast not too long ago all about writing pen test reports. Let me see if that's right. Let me do Black Hills InfoSec pen test report writing webcast. Okay, yeah, so if you literally just Google this, you can see they have part 1, part 2, part 3, a bunch of stuff here from Black Hills InfoSec about writing web app pen testing. Jeffrey Allen, I think you will find that information helpful. Okay, so what we might infer, public resources. So S3 bucket naming, we already have that. Public resources, occasionally, some resources might be publicly exposed, such as an S3 bucket configured for public access. Isn't directly related to account ID, but rather poor configuration practice. Simply access to these without authorization is unethical. This is for a pen test. How can I use the AWS CLI with my own AWS account to check public resources? Blah, 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 blah. Too verbose. Just give me the CLI command. No, that's not what I mean, you silly robot. That's not what I mean. You don't get what I'm asking about, ChatGPT. So what ChatGPT, maybe I should explain this. This is how we do pen tests. Like when I do an AWS pen test, it's not almost always. I mean, it's always from like an assumed breach perspective. So I'm not usually approaching an AWS account from a total unauthenticated standpoint. When you do an AWS pen test, you generally get access to 2 roles inside of the client's AWS account. You usually have a read-only role where you can do a global read-only of all their resources. It's more of an audit role. So you can audit the AWS environment looking for misconfigurations. And they'll also give you a role that would match like a developer. Because when you hear hear about breaches, what often happens is the group breaches an account for developer, and then from the developer account, they elevate their privileges or they pillage data. So that's how we approach AWS pen testing, a global read-only and a developer role. So you're not usually having to break in from the outside unless it's more of a red team engagement, which I think is what this lab is trying to simulate. It's a red team engagement. We're doing information gathering. We have a public S3 bucket. With the public S3 bucket, we have now located their account ID, and now we want to see from their account ID, what kind of resources can we get to? So let me just do like enumerate public resources by AWS account ID. Look at that. The greatest pen testing firm has a blog about this, Rhino Security Labs. Oh, this is what we just did. We did already enumerate that. Enumerate users to update assume role policy. We almost need access to the council, I think, right? So this is to enumerate IAM users, but I think what we need to do, and this is using a word list, so we could spray a word list at it, is do it from, we need to find public resources. Let me jump back to this. Oh, the flag in this lab is the AWS account ID. Oh, wait, that's the flag. Am I done? Am I taking this a step further? Hold up. I might just be done. Maybe this is all we have to do. I'm like overworking the lab, but let me see is this the flag? Guys, I did it. I was just taking it a step further and was trying to do like, now that we have an account ID, what more information can we do? And I was thinking with the account ID, we could check public resources, and that's what I was attempting to do. But we did it. That's all it was to it. Let's read through the walkthrough and figure out how to fix this. So enumeration, let's start by scanning the IP. Just don't do it live on stream and have a bunch of other people scan it at the same time because you might crash the web server. This reveals Mega Big Tech, which we did. We found the S3 bucket. We inspected it, and I did the same thing. It wasn't too interesting. We were able to get it. So let me read through this a little bit better. With the S3 bucket name, we can attempt to get the ID of the AWS account it's hosted in. Research by Ben revealed that it's possible to quickly brute force the AWS account ID of an S3 bucket, which is exactly what we did. And I'm proud of us, y'all. We discovered this on our own. Like, we found the tool and we ran it and figured out how to use this. Reading this research post and also reviewing the code here is recommended. But a TLDR is that this script creates a policy that utilizes the new S3 resource account policy. Condition key to evaluate whether to grant us access to an S3 bucket based on the account that the bucket belongs to. Fortunately, the script doesn't have to guess a trillion different account IDs to find the right one. The available search space is massively reduced by leveraging string matching and wildcards. Each correctly matched digit is appended to a variable, and the request is repeated until the account ID is found. And we actually saw the tool doing that right there. We have provided a user with a role, and that's where I was stuck for a while because I didn't realize they gave us a role, but they did, that leaky bucket role. Once we had that role, it was easy to figure it out. But like, once again, guys, here's why I recommend not looking at the walkthrough right away and just like struggling through it, because when you're learning, especially cloud stuff, there's no such thing as a rabbit hole. Sometimes when you do CTFs, there are rabbit holes that waste your time, but in the cloud, y'all, there's so much to learn, so many things to discover, that if you fall into a rabbit hole doing a rather simple lab like this one, you might just discover a new like threat model, a new way to attack an AWS account. So as long as you're learning, there's no such thing as a rabbit hole. So if it takes you 3 hours to do a 10-minute lab because you decided to do it on your own and go deeper into it, that's like going beyond root. I think a good example of that is 0xDF, the person who works at Hack the Box. He has like that blog where he gives written walkthroughs. He always has a section called Beyond Root where he goes a little bit deeper. So would always encourage you when you do labs, whether it's this platform or another one, always take it a step further and continue to do research on whatever you discovered. But anyways, the role that our users are allowed to assume would have the following policy attached, which that leaky bucket role did, and we were able to do that. For the last of the RAB, we'll use our existing user, and I was right. That user was a user in another AWS account. We could have made our own user in our own AWS account, but there we go. I showed how to do that already. We did this, and then we use pipx, which they use S3 account search. Hey, I showed off a different tool, and I like showing alternative ways of doing. No, it is S3 account search. Never mind, it is the same tool. I was thinking it was the Python script, but no, we did that. We just use pipx to install it. The difference, y'all, is what pipx does is it installs it in a Python virtual environment. Sometimes as you install different tools via pip, they might have different dependencies that might break other tools, but if you use pipx, it installs each tool in its own virtual environment, including the dependencies that it needs. So that's why I use pipx when you are watching me. But we did that to install S3 account search. Next, we need to provide the ARN of the role under our control, which we did. And yeah, we did that exact thing, and we found the role. This reviews the account ID. We can use this information to hunt down public resources. So look, I was actually doing kind of the right thing the next step. I had that thought as well. Now that we have the account ID, how can we find public resources? Oh, so it's actually going to show us how to do this. So there is, let's follow along with this. So although we're done with the lab, it's going to show us apparently from the CLI how to hunt this down. So it says, first, it would be good to know the AWS region that the S3 bucket was created in, as public snapshots are available to all users in the same region that the EBS or RDS snapshot was created in. Jay Money said, is this Thunderdome? Nope, Thunderdome does not release till April, and Thunderdome is really cool. You'll see it in April. It's likely that if the S3 bucket was created in a specific region, that other resources will be available there too. So all they're doing is a curl request for that bucket that we found. And in our curl request of the S3 bucket, you can see that the bucket region actually tells us in US East 1. So that means as we look at other resources, if you're new to AWS, you create resources, at least most of them region specific. So you cannot find backups if you're looking at US West 2 if they're located in US East 1. Whereas if their S3 bucket was created in US East 1, it's likely they have other public resources in US East 1. So that's why we're checking that first. And we have US East 1. In the response headers, we see that the header is set to US East 1, which is North Virginia. Next, log into the AWS Management Console in your own personal AWS account and make sure US East 1 region is selected. Okay, I'm going to go to just sharing my face for a second while I log in because I don't think I have a password manager in the VM. So I might have to jump to my host machine and grab my password for my AWS account. Give me just a second. Okay. We are logged in here to my personal AWS account, my Tyler Sandbox account. So now that we're here, make sure US region or US East is selected, which it is. I already have that selected. That's my default region. Then search for the EC2 service, okay, which it's there. In the left-hand menu, select snapshots under the Elastic Block Store menu item. Oh gosh, I gotta sneeze. I'm trying not to sneeze into my microphone. All right. In the left-hand menu, select snapshots under the Elastic Block Store, which, you know, snapshots at least make sense. But, like, I don't know why AWS has to be cute with all their names. Like EC2, if you're new to this, that just means a virtual machine. Why can't they just call it a virtual machine like what Azure does? And the snapshot at least makes sense, but Elastic Block Store, freaking call it a normal name. My goodness. But okay, we click snapshots. My AWS rant is over. Paste a discovered AWS account ID into the field and hit enter/return. So that's how we can discover public resources, is this way. Okay, very cool, very interesting. We're going to change this to public snapshots, I would think, and put in our account ID. Oh no, what's it doing? It's freaking out. Why is it freaking out? You guys see that? Oh, do I need to do owner? owner equals that. Hey, look at that. We actually have a snapshot here. Now, we could actually download this snapshot and mount it and then search it for sensitive information, but it's 8 gigabytes. I'm not going to download it to my VM because it would take a long time to do that. But it's quite easy actually to do that. There's a tool created by Rhino actually that allows you to download EBS snapshots and then search through them for sensitive information, which I can actually show you that tool. Like I said, I'm not going to do it, but looting EBS snapshots, I bet Rhino's going to pop up. Oh, we have this one. You can use Paku to do this, or there's a standalone EBS snapshot tool that you can download these snapshots and enumerate them for information. Okay. At least I'm pretty sure there is. Yeah, here we go. Here's what I used on another lab. So there's a tool created by Rhino. It's in Paku, and you can do it there as well. Otherwise, there's a standalone tool called DSnap. But when I did it, I used the EBS download snapshots Paku module. So maybe I can actually show you how this begins. I'm just not going to do the full download. So if I go, let me look at the syntax that we are doing here, if I can remember it. The first thing that we'll, of course, do is open up Paku. So we can use Paku. We'll just do a new session, and we'll just call this S3 for this session. And we're going to import our keys that we set up, which that's our profile. And we did the HackSmarter profile. And if we search for EBS, we can see we have this EBS Explore Snapshots, restores and attaches EBS volumes to an EC2 instance of your choice, or we can download snapshots. So if we use EBS download snapshots, actually, can I do help? I should know this. Yeah, here we go. So this module uses the EBS direct IP to download specific snapshots to your computer. These can then be mounted and explored either using Docker or Vagrant. You can actually do it right in your Linux VM. So you can actually mount it right here in your Linux VM. For more information how to mount these snapshots, go here. But we can we give it our snapshot ID in our region. So then if we run EBS download snapshots, we can do snapshot ID, and we would grab the snapshot ID from our AWS account right here. So this is this snapshot ID of that publicly exposed snapshot, and that's cool. Of course, it didn't actually copy because, you know, it's AWS and nothing can be easy with AWS. There we go. And then our region of US East 1. And we hit enter, and it says an error occurred when calling the list snapshot block operation. The S3 user is not authorized. Oh, so the issue that we're running into is I'd have to set it up with my own account. Our user right here, like just our Pwn Labs kind of test user himself or herself, doesn't have access to do this, but in our own S3 account, we would be able to, but I'm not going to configure my personal AWS account profile and everything on stream right now, because then you guys could use my account ID in secret to get access to my account. But this is how you would actually download it, and it would take quite a while to download because it is 8 gigabytes, but then it's just a .image. So you can create a mount point and then mount the image and then enumerate that snapshot for sensitive information. And there's actually a lab on that. So maybe, is this a free one? Is this a free one? I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do this lab maybe in another stream to walk through that full process. But okay, although AWS account IDs are not considered to be particularly sensitive, and oftentimes account IDs are available in public documentation or code, knowing the account ID of an org you are assessing the security of could be helpful. So you can imagine in a red team engagement where you have a longer timeline, maybe 3 months or 6 months of your scope that you're assessing this organization, a lot of it is spent information gathering and enumeration. And once you know the account ID, you could do this exact thing. Look for public resources owned by your target organization, download them and pillage them for sensitive information that might give you a deeper foothold into the environment. In terms of detection, the STS actions take place in the account of the person attempting to find the account ID, which won't be visible to the bucket owner's account. However, it is possible to enable S3 data events for additional costs. In other words, the victim isn't going to know you're doing this unless they do something additional for it, because it's only going to be logged in your personal AWS account. Also, as mentioned, the flag in this lab is the AWS account ID associated with the S3 bucket, which I discovered, after going down my own little rabbit holes. But even my rabbit hole, guys, I was doing the right thing. For an additional challenge, see if you can find the CLI command to list public EBS snapshots that were created in the AWS account. All right. Let's do this. We'll copy that. I think it's just list EBS. I don't even know. Freaking fun killer chat GPT saying, make sure you have permission. This won't be filtered by account ID. Really? Can't you query for it? Wow, so you'd have to list all of them. You can't just filter it in the CLI. That seems kind of strange. I mean, we did in the console. It was easy to do it that way. But the additional challenge, is doing it in the CLI. So you'd have to pipe it to another command. Yeah, and grep for that. I wonder if this would take forever. Oh my gosh, I don't have... It's going to make me set up my own credentials. All right, I'm going to, just because it tells me this is the additional challenge. I have to do the additional challenge. So I'm going to just share my face for a moment, and I need to generate some access keys for my account. Just don't want to share my access keys with all of you. My account is not an account for all of you to use, but I will show you how to do this. Let me just get to the right area. Want to make sure it's not going to show anything sensitive before I show exactly how to do this. Do I have any access keys? Security credentials. Okay, let me just deactivate these. 1 second, I'm just deactivating some other access keys, and I'll actually walk you through the process. Is it really going to make me type it? I need to deactivate it first. I'll walk you through the process of creating your own access keys in your own AWS account, just in case you want to follow along yourself, but you don't know how to do that. So let me just get everything in my AWS account ready, and then I'll show you guys how to do that. I'm just not going to give you my access keys. My AWS account isn't your AWS account. All right, let me go back up to dashboard. All right. So when you're in AWS, which you can see right here, if you want to create access keys so you can use a CLI from your own account, the way that we're going to do that is to click IAM right here, which IAM is like your user. So we'll click IAM. And then we will go ahead and click users. And your user probably isn't named Tyler, but we're going to grab this Tyler user. And what we're going to do is go to security credentials. And we want to generate access keys. So we're going to click create access key in order to create them, but I'm not going to share with you my secret. So now we're going to go back to looking at my face. Oh, actually, I can show you the next part. So when you go to access keys, you just want to do CLI, the command line interface. So that's what you'll select. But back to my face real quick. While I do that, And I'm going to click next. Call it Pwn Labs. I'm going to create my access key. And then it will create the access key. It'll only show you the secret once. So you want to make sure you get that copied. And now what I'm doing is just configuring it like you saw me do the first time. When I configured the access key and the secret, I'm just doing it for my own personal account. I just look into OBS, make sure I'm not actually sharing my screen while I do this. All right. Go back to AWS. All right. I have things configured. Although, sorry, I'm going to go back to sharing my face one more time. Here we go. All right, we have this, but I'm not going to use the profile Hack Smarter because I configured the main profile to be my actual AWS account. I think this will work now because I should have full permissions to do everything. Let's see if it does. Okay, so freaking ChatGPT is silly. The filter null is invalid. Come on, ChatGPT. Let me just try this myself. EC2 describe snapshots. I think we would have to do the query. Oops. Can I just do owner ID first? Okay. Yeah, I can do it better than ChatGPT. So if we do that, and then we just grep for that account ID, is this the one that they wanted us to do? Or was it a different one? I think this is the one. Geez, there must be a faster way to do this, don't you guys think? This would work, but like I said before, it's going to go through all of the public snapshots until it finds the one that we are looking for. There has to be a more efficient way of doing this. There just has to be. Let's see, AWS. It's describe. Oh, actually, it found it. Okay, so I guess it's not terrible. So then we just have to figure out what can we all query. So we could do snapshot ID, maybe. Can I do owner ID, snapshot ID, like that, maybe? And then grep for that account ID, and then it should show us a snapshot ID of that account ID. Or I guess I could just query. Can I query based on? No, ChatGPT claims I can't query based on owner ID. I can't do like owner ID equals. Oh, look, I did it anyways. I figured it out myself. Boom. So that is how you would use the command line. No thanks to ChatGPT, which gave me a convoluted command that didn't freaking work, but did it manually. That is how you would use the AWS from the command line interface to query for, hey, I want all of the available snapshots for this account ID. Otherwise, you can do it from the console. But if you only have the CLI, this would be one way that we could query for public resources in an account. So cool. We took that lab totally a step further in multiple ways. But I don't know about you guys. I actually learned a lot just by stumbling our way through that. And just want to point out again, this is a completely free lab. The other thing I like to do is see the further reading, which, hey, we already discovered a lot of this. Let's look at this, an account ID from an attacker's perspective. This would be interesting. Jeffrey said, will this be on YouTube later? Yep, all my videos like this will end up on YouTube. It'll probably get posted early next week. This would be interesting. So what can an attacker do? You're an attacker. Determining an AWS account ID is one of your first steps to attack an AWS environment. In this post, we will discuss what they are, what they're useful for. We know an ID is, but why would I want to find them? So understanding AWS account, finding misconfigured IAM principals. You could probably use that brute force tool by Rhino to find IAM principals if we used a word list. Determine which services are used and different third-party services with access. Tools like QuietRed and Paku, told you guys, are great for doing this in a scalable and automated way. All you need is a good word list of role names, just like what I was talking about. You'll also leave no trace of reconnaissance because, once again, it's all in your own logs, not your target logs. You're only limited by AWS API rate limits, but even that can be scaled by opening more AWS accounts. You can have 10 in your org. So how do I find them? Well, you can find them in GitHub, different places. We found it via an S3 bucket, which I think is a cool and realistic way to find one. It actually talks about it right there. And you can find access key, blah, blah. If you can find resources in many ways, for example, the repositories. So this is just showing how to find it. But we showed you some ways you can also attack it by using that information to query for public resources in your target account. You could download the snapshot, enumerate the snapshot, and then see what sensitive information might be there. But hey, y'all, that is the end of this video. I do want to thank all of you on YouTube for watching this video with me. Hopefully you did the lab alongside of me. If you didn't, hey, go ahead and give the lab a shot now. It's completely free. You have nothing to lose. Create a free account on Pwn Labs and check out this lab and do it on your own. You can learn a lot by watching a video, but you learn even more by getting hands-on keyboard yourself and working through the different labs. So thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. All right, now I'm just live with you guys. That actually took longer than I was expecting. I was going to think about doing another lab tonight, but I don't think so. It's 10:30 at night. Probably a good time to stop and not start a brand new lab. But happy to hang around some more. If you guys have any additional questions about what we were doing or career stuff, feel free to ask them. My cat wants on my lap. My cat wants to join the stream. Y'all can say hello to my cat. If you can see him. He's black, and I wear a black hoodie all the time, so it's kind of hard to see him. Sometimes it just looks like I'm petting air, but I promise I do have a real account. Rock said, go to the account and query snapshots. What do you mean? Do you mean like in the console? That definitely works. That's how we did it the first time, but from the CLI, I think that's one way to do it, is how I showed grepping. Nox Lumen said, have you transferred your notes out of OneNote into another application? I've been thinking about moving over to Obsidian, but I want to reorganize the information in my OneNote. I haven't. And, you know, the more I have kind of just learned, the less I rely on my notes as much. I still will sometimes control F through stuff, but a lot of the things I used to rely on my notes for, I can replace with ChatGPT. So a lot of my notes, especially my cloud notes, are all about syntax, because when I got into pen testing and like the OSCP and stuff, there was no such thing as ChatGPT. So I had to do everything manually, and syntax is just something I forgot. Now it's super easy to be like, yo, GPT, what's the syntax for this? Until he's a fun killer. He's like, I can't comply because I don't like fun. But otherwise, I just use Cherry Tree, and my notes are usually engagement specific when I use them now. And so it's a mix of Cherry Tree, Hacktricks is an incredible resource, and then ChatGPT has kind of replaced my traditional note-taking structure. But I still take notes in every box I do, in every engagement I do, because even if I don't refer back to it all the time, just the process of writing down what you are doing helps you learn the material better, I think. I think there were some questions on YouTube as well that I didn't answer. Let me just scroll up. Or not YouTube, Twitch. Could have swore someone asked me about Cherry Tree at some point in time. Zach said, Tyler, oh, Cat, what are you doing? Chill, bro. Said, you should host a hackathon for a day and see how many machines can be compromised in a day or in a certain amount of hours. I did do a hackathon once. It was called the OSCP. And I compromised 3 standalone machines. And, well, okay, I don't remember. I got 80 points which means I think I fully compromised. 2 of the standalone machines had user access on one standalone machine, and I fully compromised the AD set, which is a total of 3 machines in 8 hours. So 3, 4, 5. I did like 5.5 or 6 machines in the matter of 8 hours. That was my hackathon. But yo, that's mentally draining. I don't like doing that many machines back to back. Our closest probably be DEF CON when I do CTFs there. That's kind of all I do is CTFs. SDDRGDRD, I can't say your name. It looks like you just like hit your face on your keyboard. Asked a while ago, hello there. I'm now starting with Bug Bounty. What vulns I should learn as a beginner, and is JS required? Because it's trash. You don't have to know how to write in JavaScript, but you should know how to read JavaScript, understand the basics, because the bug that I would recommend learning is cross-site scripting, which is all JavaScript alerts, my friend, but you don't need to know how to write in JavaScript to find bugs. But I would go deep into things like cross-site scripting. That's a good low-hanging bug that you can often find in bug bounty programs. They're usually medium impact. You might get, $500, maybe a little bit higher depending on the impact. Zach said, I got my Net Plus on Monday. Tyler, want to take it for me? Hey, with the right price. Just kidding, CompTIA. Don't come after me. I'm not taking people's exams. Do I mind sharing the pros and cons of Cato versus Burp? Yeah, maybe I'll make a video about that. Basically, Burp Pro is still better in my opinion. So like, I do pen testing for my day job, right? I make videos just for fun. I don't get paid for this by my job at all. So it's just like my side hobby for fun to help other people. But for my actual job, I use Burp Pro. Cato doesn't quite have the functionality that Burp Pro has with all the different plugins and extensions. But I do wholeheartedly believe Cato is significantly better than Burp Suite Community Edition because of the lack of the rate limiting, and Burp is now introducing plugins and some custom plugins and some custom passive scanning that you're able to do that Burp Suite Community Edition does not have. Do you have a video for RustScan installation? I don't have a video for RustScan, but if you go to the RustScan's GitHub, it's literally just a binary. You download to your Linux machine and run it. It's super easy. So just go to the RustScan's GitHub. They do a good job of explaining it. Haircut Fish said, are you able to access your Cherry Tree notes from multi-devices, or do you only have them on your Linux box there? Right now, I just have it on my Linux box, but all you would have to do to access from multiple devices is if you use Google Drive or OneDrive, just save your Cherry Tree to Google Drive, sync that across your devices, and then just every time you use OneNote, locate the OneNote file in your drive. Like in Linux, you can attach your Google Drive so it appears as another drive, and then it would sync across all your devices. So it's not, cloud syncing is not natively built into Cherry Tree, but it's super easy to sync it if you want to, and then use it from whatever machine you're on. All right. I think I answered all questions. Let me check LinkedIn. Even though I can't see the comments half the time. All right. Actually, you need to start giving your link out, Noob. Man, she's calling names now. Okay, y'all. Thank you for hanging out. I am going to jump off stream. I won't be here tomorrow night. Those of you who follow me, you know that Thursday nights I actually go boxing. I go beat some people up in a boxing ring and don't get home till later. And when I do get home, I'm like exhausted from, boxing for an hour and a half and fighting people. So won't be on stream tomorrow night. Maybe I'll jump on Friday or maybe this weekend. Otherwise, Wednesday nights are when I stream for sure. Other nights are just like, hey, if I feel like jumping on stream, I will. But Wednesday nights are kind of my schedule I try to stick to. So make sure you come back here on Wednesdays and we will hang out again together. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm always releasing videos. I probably release anywhere from 3 to 5 videos every single week on YouTube, a mix of content from live streams, standalone videos, and all that good stuff. So if you want to stay connected, go there. And hey, before we sign off, we should raid another. My cat's hair is flying everywhere. Bruh, cat, quit shedding, dog. I don't like hair on my desk. Let's see if there's anyone else streaming. We'll go to InfoSec Streamers, infosecstreams.com. Wait, why doesn't it show me as online? Bro, I am online. Is this broken? Well, it appears no one is online, but I'm online. Why is my Twitch not showing up right now on here? Well, I guess nobody else is online either, so let me just go to Twitch directly and see if we can raid anyone. Let me actually get it pulled up in my other window real quick. I'll share my screen in a moment. All right, you can see the quality is low because I don't want to take up more bandwidth than I need to. But let's go to, can we go to Science and Technology? Oh, Siren's on? All right. Bet, as the youngins will say. Let's raid Siren. Siren's cool. We'll go raid, and we'll do Siren Official. Hey, when you raid, you say, if you're on Twitch, usually you come with the keyword. We say, hack smarter, not harder. All right, so that is the raid keyword, hack smarter, not harder. Let's go ahead and raid Siren and give them some of our support. Here we go. If you're on YouTube, if you want to join the raid, if you go over to Twitch, it will join the raid, hacksmart.live. Go over there, and we will raid Siren Official and go see what they are up to, see what they're hacking. But usually they do a really great job. So I'm going to go hang out there for a little bit and learn myself since it's not quite bedtime for me. So let's jump over there and hang out. Oh, J Money, answer your question. Thunderdome comes out in April, I think early to mid-April. I don't know if we have an official date, but that's kind of what is being targeted. Okay, I think I did the raid now. Everybody accept the raid. Accept the raid. Accept it. Accept it. All right, I'm gonna sign off with y'all, and we will go ahead and raid. Peace.